right, we're ready to do our problem today. Now, instead of doing a word problem, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the way we do a 2-digit plus a 2-digit number, okay? Now, what I want you to do is I want you to set up your board so it looks like mine. I want you to set up 13 plus 20 equals blank. And then again over here, 13 plus 20 equals blank. And then you're going to draw a line down the middle of it. When you get ready, we'll get started. Okay, now what we're going to do is, if you remember correctly, we try to break this number down into tens and ones because it's easier to add tens together and then add the extra ones after. So that's what we're going to do. But remember, we try to put our tens next to the tens. So if I break down the number 13, I break that down into 10, 3 because I know 10 plus 3 equals 13. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a caret underneath here, and I'm going to put the 10 closest to the 20. That leaves my 3 over here. So here are my 10s, here are my 1s. I'm going to circle my 10s because I know 20 plus 10 equals, let's see, I have 2 10s here and 1 10 here. 2 plus 1 is 3, and then I have to add my 0. But I'm not done there. I have to now add the number that I didn't use. So I'm going to bring that 30 down, and then I'm going to bring the 3 down. 30 plus 3 is, you got it, 33. Okay? This is the way your parents go crazy on because they're like, why are we making it so hard? And you're like, I understand it, it's no problem. But let me show you what I call the good old-fashioned way of doing it. And I think you're really going to like it. And again, it's a third way to be able to come up with the same answer. Watch what we do. So we have 13 plus 20. I'm going to rewrite it. Now watch how I rewrite it because you have to be really careful. I'm going to write the 13 here. And right underneath it, I'm going to write the 20. But you have to be careful that you're lining up your 10s and your 1s. If you don't line them up properly, you will not come up with the right answer. So let me show you. So let's write the 20 underneath it. And then I'm going to put my plus sign out here and a line here. Did you get that? Now, watch what we're going to do. I'm just going to draw a line down the middle so that I can show you these are my 10s and these are my 1s. Okay? So what you're going to do is we're going to start over here with our 1s. And we're going to be adding up and down. So I'm going to ask you, what's 3 plus 0? Yeah, it's 3. So I'm going to write that 3 right here. Now I'm going to go over to my 10s. I'm going to ask you, what's 1 plus 2 more? Or I can ask you, what's 2 plus 1? Yes, the answer is 3. Well, look at that. Our answers came out exactly the same. Which way's easier? I say the good old-fashioned way is easier, but you do need to know how to break this into 10s and 1s and do it this way as well. So again, we've given you the 10s and 1s way. We also did it the make a 10 way, and now the good old-fashioned way. And the good old-fashioned way is going to, I think, help you once we start getting into bigger numbers that we're adding together. Now I want to introduce you to something called a tape diagram. Now we're not going to use them a lot, but I do want you to know what they are when you see them, okay? So a tape diagram to me is a picture of a number bond, and I'm going to explain to you why. Let's take a look at the problem 12 plus 3. Now, a couple ways we can do this. I can punch 12, count up 3. 12, 13, 14, 15. So I'm pretty sure my answer is 15. Or I can do a number bond. I can have my total here and my 2 parts here, which I know my 2 parts are 12 and 3. And I just punched it out to come up with my answer of 15, right? Let me show you a tape diagram, okay? We would need to draw 12. Watch how I'm going to draw 12. I'm going to draw 12 going across, just like this. Okay, so here's my 12. At least I hope there's 12. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do you notice what I did with the picture? That's right. 10 are open circles, 2 are closed circles because 10, 2 is 12. Now I need to add 3 to that. Here's my 3. And then all you do is this to come up with your answer of 15. Now my question to you is this: which way is easier? Which way can you get yourself the answer quicker? And then which way do you make the least mistakes? I'm kind of thinking this way. That's why I'm not a fan of the tape diagram, but you do need to understand if someone says to you, I want you to make a tape diagram, you need to understand how to do that. And the reason that they split it up like this too is for this reason. I know I don't have to count 10 here because I split the 12 up 10 too. I already know there's 10 here. So now all I can have to do is really say 3 plus 2 more is 5. 10, 5 is 15. Okay? So just a quick little snippet for you. Hope it helps. Time for our lesson for today. You're going to find that we're going to be getting back into a lot of word problems. And the word problems right now aren't with huge numbers. So we're going to go back to our basics is what we're going to do. We're going to go back to how we learn to do the word problems. And I'm going to have you do some different steps when you do your homework today, so I want you to pay close attention to what we do. We're actually going to start using what's called cubs. And I'm going to write that over here. C-U-B-S. C stands for circle your numbers. U, underline the important words. B is box your question. And then S is to solve it. So what we're going to do is we're going to read our problem, and then we're going to go through cubs. So it says, Evelyn had 13 yellow flowers and 5 pink flowers. How many flowers did she have all together? So if I go right straight through, C is for circle your numbers. So I'm going to circle the numbers 13 and 5. Do you know why I have you circle your numbers? You got it. It's so that you know what you're working with. So I know I'm working with the number 13 and I know I'm working with the number 5. But right now we're not sure what it is that we're doing with those. Let's read on. We need to cross off the C because we did that. Now we need to underline an important word. That important word is usually in the question. Don't forget your question is the one that starts with a capital and ends with a question mark. So we're right here. How many flowers does she have all together? What's my important word? You got it. All together is our important word. Now, I'm going to cross off my U. Now I need to box my question. So I'm just going to put a box around the question that I have here. That's what I'm going to do. And cross off my B. Now I'm going to solve it. Now, when we solve it, that's when this whole entire box is complete. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is say, okay, what do I need to draw? I need to draw 13 yellow flowers. So I'm going to draw them just like we used to do in a 10 frame. So we're going to do our 10 here, and then I'm making 13 though, so 11, 12, 13, okay? So there's my 13. Now I have to draw 5 more. Now remember, in a 10 frame, I can only have 5 on top, 5 on the bottom. Same goes for outside of the 10 frame. So check out how I do this. I need to draw my 5. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The reason I only put 2 up top was because I already knew I had 3 on top already. 3 plus 2 is 5. Now, let's see what we have. I know I have a full 10 frame, so I have 10 plus the amount I have on the outside. Well, if I look at this, even if I put a box around it so it looks like a 10 frame, that helps me to realize I'm short of a full 10 frame by 2, so that means I have 8. 10, 8 is 18. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is fill in our number bond. So again, we have to refer back up to our problem. I know that I've got my 2 parts. If I'm adding something together, I have 2 parts. So I know I have 13 and 5. So here's my 13, and I'm going to label that Y for yellow. And over here, I'm going to put my 5, and I'm going to label that P for pink. What the question is how many flowers do I have? So what we're going to do is we're going to punch 13 and count up 5, and let's see if we come up with 18, and I hope we do. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yes, we did it. So 18 is going to go here, and 18 is going to go here. Now, we need a number sentence to go along with it. Remember, a number sentence is a sentence using numbers. So again, we're going to go to what we drew. What did we draw first? We drew 13 first, and then we drew 5 more. We just said 13 plus 5 is 18. We're going to put that in a box because it's going to remind us to put it here. And lastly, we have to answer the question. Now remember, we boxed our question because that's our reminder that that's what we're answering. How many flowers does she have altogether? We're going to say she has, how many? Yes, 18. We're going to put a box around it to remind us 18 flowers. And you're going to put the 18 in the box here, and then we can cross off the S. So, what did we just do? We just used cubs to solve our answer. So again, let's refresh our memories. C is circle your numbers. U, underline your important words. B, box your question. S, solve your problem. You're going to need to do that for your homework for tonight. So tonight, you're going to be on page number 68 and 69. Now, there's only 6 problems, but they might take you a little longer, and I need you to show your work. You might know what the answer is, but I don't care if you know what the answer is. I care about how you got to your answer. That's what's important. So let's go over the first problem together. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see what it says here. So it says, Lee saw 6 squash and 7 pumpkins growing in his garden. How many vegetables did he see growing in his garden? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write cubs on the side of where I set up my problem. Now, here's the important thing, and I want to show you this. In your workbook, you have the sentence, the statement written for you. So when you draw in this, my suggestion is to make sure you draw it like this and then like this, because guess what? Then you don't have to rewrite it. It's already in the spot where it's supposed to be. See how tricky that is? So we're going to circle our numbers. I'm going to circle the 6 and I'm going to circle the 7 and I'm going to cross off my C. Now I need to underline the important word or words. In this case, it says, how many vegetables did he see growing in his garden? Guess what the magic word is? It's actually vegetables. And the reason why is it didn't say how many squash. It didn't say how many pumpkins. It wanted to know altogether vegetables, right? So vegetables is your important word. Then we're going to box the question. Again, it's the one that starts with a capital and ends with a question mark. And then cross that off. And then we have to solve. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 6. You do this with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? And now I need to draw 7 pumpkins. And I'm going to use something different. You want to use a different symbol. I just use the O's and the X's, so this way you can see the difference. But I'm going to draw 7. And I'm not just going to throw them out here. I have to fill in my 10 frame. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many do I have in my 10 frame? That's right, you have 10 in your 10 frame plus 3 on the outside. 10, 3 is 13. Got it? Now, we have a number bond to fill out. And it's pretty simple because you know, again, we're adding, so we have our 2 parts. So we know we have 6 squash, S for squash. We have 7, P for pumpkin. But we don't know how many V, vegetables, we have. So what we're going to do is we're going to punch the larger number. So which one's larger, 6 or 7? That's right, 7. So we're to punch 7, count up 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we believe our answer is 13, and guess what? It matches what we have up above. Now, we need a number sentence. Again, we're going to go back to what we drew in the first place. I drew 6 squash plus I drew 7 pumpkins. And we just figured out it equals 13. So I'm going to put my 13 here. And then look at this. We don't have to write the whole statement out. They did it for us. What we need to do is just write our answer on the line, which is the 13, put it in the box, and cross out your S. That's what a complete problem looks like. And again, I always tell you, you have to stay organized for math. You have to. Because if you don't, your answers aren't going to come out right. So please do both pages. Please make sure you get pictures taken of your work and send it in to your teacher. If you have any problems at all, please let us know.